You ever walk into a place and just know, deep down, today isn't going to end the way anybody expects? That's how it was that morning hot. Texas sun beating down on a courthouse that looked like it was waiting to be bulldozed, faded brick, the flag stuck on half-mast. Not a soul in sight who looked like they wanted to be there. I remember stepping out of my car, my hand gripping this old black handbag. The one Caleb gave me for our anniversary, hadn't carried it since the day we buried him. But I guess some days you need armor, you know? You put on your game face, walk through those doors, and it's colder inside than you expect, not AC cold, but that kind of cold you get when everyone's staring just long enough to remind you you're not one of them. But I wasn't there to fit in. I found my seat second row, perfect spot, not too close, not too far in waited. Courtroom was already filling up, reporters whispering, deputies shooting looks my way. The DA Jared Winslow flashing that little half-smirk you only see on people who think they've already won. And the judge, Howard Kessler, 67 and mean as a copperhead, sweeps him like he owns the air, that old black robe floating behind him. No smile, not even a glance my way, but I could feel his contempt all the same. You could cut it with a knife. I sat there, steady, waiting for them to start the show. They rolled out the motions and objections, barely mentioned Caleb's name. My husband wasn't on trial, not really, but he was about to get erased right there in front of everyone, reduced to a police report and a couple of blurry timestamps. The first witness, Officer Gainan, took the stand, your classic good old boy, white middle-aged, looked like the guy grilling burgers at the neighborhood cookout. He painted the whole scene. Suspicious vehicle, nervous driver, didn't roll down the window fast enough, hands moving too slow. Did you find a weapon? No, sir. Did he resist? Became verbally aggressive. That's the phrase they always use. Animated, he said. That word stung. Animated. I heard what he meant. He meant black and breathing. They kept on, talking about procedure, about officer safety, never once about the man who made pancakes on Sundays, who sang to our dog, who texted me even when he was running 5 minutes late. I folded my hands tighter, refusing to let them see anything but stone. Winslow was slick, polished, the kind of DA who makes juries believe anything. I could see it happening. They were buying his story, little by little, sliding away from the truth. And the judge? Judge Kessler watched it all, hands tapping his gavel when Peter, me lawyer, a good man, but he was outmatched, get too close to something real. Kessler wasn't just in charge. He was conducting, making sure the trial never left his rails. But I didn't blink. I just waited. Because what nobody knew, not Peter, not Kessler, not the Dawas that I hadn't come to grieve. I'd come with receipts. The next act was even uglier. Peter tried to push back, asked the right questions about radio logs, timelines, but every time he got close, Kessler slapped him down, accused him of tone. Yeah, you know what that means, stay in your lane. It's courtroom for don't make me look bad. Peter backed off, but I saw the fury in his eyes. He knew it wasn't just this Casey, it was the whole rotten system. Recess. 5 minutes. Winslow leaned over to his intern, joked, looked my way, and mouthed, "You're wasting your time." I tilted my head, just enough to let him know maybe, maybe not. When we came back, they called Deputy Clay Hinton the one who'd pulled the trigger. He looked younger than I remembered, badge shining, posture sharp. His story? Same as the last. Hostile suspect, wouldn't show his hands. I feared for my safety. Did he find a weapon? No, sir. Did Caleb threaten him? He didn't need to. That one hurt. His actions spoke for themselves, Hinton said. That's the script, right? Fear. Always fear. But Peter got up and cut through the noise. Was there any actual evidence of crime? No drugs, no weapons, no stolen property. Yet the whole thing escalated. Why? I followed procedure, Hinton said. But when Peter tried to introduce the dash cam footage reel, unedited, not the sanitized version the prosecution handed over, Kessler shut him down. Gavel slammed, voice tight with fear he didn't even realize he was showing. You ever see a man in power start to sweat? That's when you know you're close. And what nobody in that room knew was that before I was a widow, I was a technician of truth. 20 years with the CIA's internal forensics unit, yeah. That's a real thing, and no, we don't talk about it. My specialty? Sound. Audio. I can spot an edit in a recording like most folks spot a typo. So when the police said the dash cam glitched for 22 seconds, I didn't buy it. At home, late at night, I ran that footage frame by frame, peeled back the layers, listened to the static, the skips, and there it was. Caleb's voice, clear as day, cut out on purpose. Why are you doing this to me? Not aggressive, just scared, confused. That's what they didn't want you to hear. That's what I brought to court, loaded on a flash drive, ready for Peter to use when the time was right. And then came the twist. Elise Moran, old friend, internal affairs detective, someone who owed me a favor. She brought the clean copy, backed it up, and signed off. When Peter played the tape in open court, the air changed. Winslow's voice on the recording. I trimmed the audio. She won't find it. She's just a widow. You should have seen the jury's faces: shock, disbelief, a few outright tears. And when Elise took the stand, she spelled it out. The prosecution tampered with evidence. The judge let it happen. And the entire trial was built on a lie. Kessler tried to shut it down, but Peter wasn't having it. He called Elise for sworn testimony under oath in front of everyone. She testified, clear as a bell, that the dash cam footage had been deliberately altered, traced the edit right back to Winslow's office network. The room exploded. No more whispers, just people realizing they'd been played. It all snowballed from there. Peter moved for dismissal, and you could see the panic setting in. And right as Kessler tried to stall, "We'll reconvene tomorrow for final statements," 2 men in suits walked in. Not cops, feds. The whole room froze. One agent walked up, put a sealed envelope in front of the judge. "You are under federal investigation for obstruction of justice, conspiracy to falsify evidence, and violation of judicial ethics. Step down immediately." And just like that, the gavel didn't matter anymore. Kessler stood, shaking, tried to warn us all. "You think one woman can change this system? It's built this way." But no one listened. His power was gone. And before the dust even settled, another pair of agents came for Winslow. He tried to protest, couldn't find the words. They let him out as the jury watched, silent, understanding now the price of silence and complicity. The interim federal rep dismissed all charges against Caleb, wiped his record, and put the whole courtroom under review. It was over, at least that chapter was. But when the cameras crowded the courthouse steps, microphones shoved in my face, I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. Justice doesn't come from headlines. It comes from people who won't let go of the truth. As I left, Elise waiting by the car, she asked, "You ready?" I just looked back at that old courthouse, smaller now, just another building. "I've been ready a long time," I told her. And we drove off into the night. List of names in my bag: other judges, prosecutors, sheriffs. Justice is a journey, not a place you get to once and stop. There's always another battle, another name on the list. So if you're listening, if you've ever watched someone you love get swept under by the system, or if you've carried grief and truth in both hands and sit still, share your story. Speak up, even if your voice shakes. Because maybe, just maybe, it's your turn to make the ground tremble. Let's hear your take. What's justice mean to you? And when's the last time you saw it win? Drop a comment. Let's get real.